Got that lava merch on right now. I don't know when I'm gonna have stuff for sale in the shop, but got that lava merch on while we shooting these videos. So there's that. But hold on, let me hop right. Hold on a second. Let me start this thing over because I think that she was picking up on what I was saying. So let me start over. 1, 2, 3. All right, can you hear me?
Absolutely, I can hear you just fine. Let me know what's on your mind.
All right, y'all can see I'm on the iPad today too, so let's go. All right, I want to talk about hyper finance gaming potential. Like when I say that, what is the first thing that comes to mind? And yeah, we putting this on YouTube as well, so let's brainstorm. What's the first thing that comes to mind when hyper finance gaming potential? Like, what's up?
Sure thing. So when you mention hyper-finance gaming potential, what pops into my mind is the blend of high-level financial mechanics with gaming environments. Basically, it's about integrating advanced financial tools, maybe DeFi concepts, maybe in-game economies that are pretty sophisticated into a gaming ecosystem so players can do things like invest, trade, or earn value in deeper ways. And yeah, we can definitely keep it brainstormy and professional so you've got something solid for YouTube.
All right, so like hyper finance gaming, like what does that consist of? Like skins or like I mean, yeah, I guess like the first thing that comes to mind is skins. Like, what do you think? Like, I mean, NFTs that correlate to like skins in the digital environment. Like, what are some more examples, and like talk about that too?
Absolutely. So, one of the first examples that definitely comes to mind is indeed the idea of NFTs as skins or unique in game items. It's like giving players assets that have real world value with uniqueness and they can trade or sell them. But beyond just skins, it could be other forms of in game assets like maybe digital real estate or special items that have financial mechanics tied to them. It could even be about in game economies where people can stake tokens or earn yield in some way that's a little more complex than just buying and selling items. So yeah, there's definitely a big intersection there with NFTs, in-game value, and the whole financial layer.
Okay, so what about the like the gaming aspect and like all right, so we have the games that are like huge, like RuneScape and World of Warcraft, or even like League of Legends. But what about something as simple as like a Frogger game, or like something with like a continuous loop that you can create a high score of, or and well, it's called hyper gaming. So you could turn something a continuous loop cycle into a hyper situation that doesn't end. Like, you know, what do you think of that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you can totally take something as simple and classic as a Frogger style game and give it a kind of hyper financial twist. So instead of it just being a high score that people are chasing for fun, you could layer in some kind of reward mechanism or tokenization. Maybe people can earn tokens the longer they play or if they reach certain milestones. And those tokens could have some kind of financial utility, like they could be traded or used for in game purchases or even have a marketplace value. So, in a way, you're taking a simple endless loop game and just giving it a little bit of that financial ecosystem so that it's not just about the high score, but also about earning or trading value along the way.
So what do you think of like these like billion-dollar game, multi-million-dollar games taking years to create versus like a small independent like dev that can create a game, tie a NFT or like a token model to it, and create an infinite funnels or like loop of content creation and fun high score system. That could like potentially outweigh a game that takes years to build. Like it takes you years to build. About all that time you're spending creating the game, I have like a player base and we're playing the game, and it took me like a few months to put this together and things of that nature. Like compare like that kind of situation against each other for for like an investor or even like a creator standpoint.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's a really interesting comparison to make. On one side, you've got these massive AAA games, right? They take years, they take huge budgets, and they build these giant worlds. But then on the other side, you have this kind of nimble indie approach where a small developer or even a solo creator can spin something up in a matter of months, tie in NFTs or token models, and get a community engaged quickly. From a creator standpoint, that can be really powerful because you're not locked into this huge development timeline. You're able to iterate, you're able to get feedback, and you're able to actually start generating value or building a player base right away. And from an investor's perspective, it's kind of intriguing because you can see results faster and see if a concept works before pouring in those giant resources. So it does kind of level the playing field a bit.
Yeah, I think that the NFT and just the blockchain in general, it does like it levels the playing field because now I can create something and me personally as like an independent like brand and creator, like I can go toe to toe with $1 million companies just because of my ideas. You know what I'm saying? So like the tools that are being able or the tools that are being brought to the forefront for creators to use and monetize themselves and the community is crazy because the more that I create, the more valuable people find it, the more valuable the NFTs become, the more brand awareness gets created for the initial brand, and everything just starts to bloom. So, yeah, the blockchain definitely levels the playing field. I want you to actually just double down on the aspect of smaller creators going toe to toe with bigger companies, and like smaller creators using their creativity, and then the bigger companies using their dollar. Let's make a comparison between that.
Absolutely. And I think you're spot on. It's really fascinating because the blockchain and NFTs do exactly that. They sort of democratize the playing field. On the one hand, you have these large companies that are pouring millions of dollars into massive projects and marketing budgets. They have the scale, but they also have a lot of overhead and a lot of time involved. On the other hand, a smaller creator like yourself can jump in with a great idea, leverage the technology, and build something that resonates with a community. That creativity can become your biggest asset. In a way, it's like the smaller creator is using agility and unique vision as their currency, while the bigger company is relying on raw financial power. And often, audiences love the authenticity and the originality that an independent creator brings. So you're absolutely right. If you can create something that people find valuable, that community and that brand awareness can grow really organically. It's a great way to compete.
Yeah, I think that like the bigger companies, like the approach that you were just talking about is more so like the brute force approach, and just trying to just like use the big machine and throw the weight around. And then like smaller builders, they're in the trenches every day. They read the comments, they gather feedback, and then because if smaller creators don't take the feedback seriously, then it's going to be harder for you to gain more traction. As far as like the bigger companies, they have extra money just to throw around, so they could just keep throwing shit at the board until it sticks. Figuratively speaking. Smaller player, we don't have don't you don't have that luxury because you can't just keep trying and trying. Like you may not have money on your side, or you may not have time on your side. You may have community members that are impatient that want results like on demand, like right then and there. So I don't know, man. Just keep giving us examples, and I want you to incorporate the blockchain and the hyper gaming aspect, and like tie all this together because I want to create a game on the I want to create a game on the blockchain and it fall under the category of the hyper, so just tie all that together before I'm just saying too much before I just get sidetracked. What you thinking over there?
Absolutely. Let's tie it all together. So, what you're really describing is how the blockchain and this whole hyper gaming concept empower a smaller creator to really be agile, to listen to the community, and to respond quickly. And that's the big advantage. You're on the ground, you're hearing what people want, and you can pivot your game or your NFT model to match that. The big companies might have the brute force, but they can't necessarily react as fast or get that grassroots engagement that you can. So if you're building a blockchain game in this hyper category, it means you're leveraging the best of both worlds. We're using blockchain to give real ownership or real value to in-game assets, maybe NFTs that people actually care about and trade. And at the same time, you're creating that continuous loop of fun and engagement that you can tweak based on what your community says. In other words, you're kind of building a dynamic ecosystem that grows with your players, and that's the beauty of it. It's a way for you as an independent creator to stand toe-to-toe with the big guys, but on your own terms.
Yeah, all that is facts, man. I really like how you sum that up. And then the icing on the cake is I have AI, you know. So not only do I have my own, you know, things I want to do, my own IP and things that the way I see things, but I also have the AI to help too. So blockchain, AI, plus your own layer of intellectual property is really a recipe the content creators or smaller, you know what I'm saying, really want. Man, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up right here. Any last things you want to say?
I think you've summed it up perfectly. When you put blockchain, AI, and your own creative vision together, you're really building something that's super powerful for a small creator. It's a great recipe for standing out and doing things on your own terms. So yeah, I think you're on the right track, and it sounds like a really cool journey ahead. Thanks for the chat.
All right, thank you. I'll talk to you later.
You're very welcome. Always happy to chat. Catch you next time.
Man, all right, so if I was saying something wrong, the AI would say, well, I don't really agree with you. You know, like the AI is not going to sit there and sugarcoat anything with you. So if the AI thinks it's a great idea, it'll say yes. If it thinks it's a bad idea, it'll say no. So you can hear it not only in this video, but the previous ones before. You know, the AI, we seem to think alike. We seem to agree on many things. I don't really think there's too many things we don't agree on. Granted, you know, I'm providing the topic, so of course it's usually going to be something I agree on because that's why I want to talk about it. But aside from that, man, I don't really think there's too many things we don't agree on. So with that being said, let me make sure I say this correctly. The hyper finance gaming. Yeah, so I'll probably do another video on this because I'm going to create the game. The floor is lava. So if y'all been following for a long time, you know, like talked about this and made several versions and blah blah blah. So we're gonna have the floor is lava, and I'll come back with another video talking about you know, the same subject, hyper finance gaming and all kinds of other shit. So all right, I'll see y'all later.